Up guys, a little special video for you guys tonight. I'm going to be talking about what is, or should I say was, once one of the best holiday park in Great Yarmouth, that being Vauxhall Holiday Park. Now, I say was because the other day I was looking at some of the reviews of Vauxhall Holiday Park, and all I can really say is ouch. Some of the reviews I saw for Vauxhall weren't good, to be honest. They were very, very bad. You can see that there's a lot of problems at Vauxhall, there's a lot of issues there. That kind of need looking into. I was reading one review from someone that actually was staying at Vauxhall Holiday Park a few months ago, in August, back in August, and they were saying that they had to leave vacate their caravan because their caravan was hauling alive with bed bugs. Now, that is a major problem. You know, if someone has had to kind of leave their caravan because of bed bugs, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the problems with Vauxhall have been seemingly appeared since Park Dean Resorts took over the ownership of the holiday park about several years ago. Because before Park Dean Resorts took over the ownership, several years ago, the park was so good. It was such a brilliant holiday park. It was like no matter what time of the year you went to Vauxhall, you were always sure to have a good time. You were always guaranteed to have a really good time there because it was such a great holiday park, so much to do, like everything was so good, and I think a lot of people have been going back there for the nostalgia, for nostalgic reasons. But a lot of those people have said that you don't really get that nostalgic vibe anymore. That you used to get with Vauxhall. One of the things that doesn't make sense is the fact they got rid of Louis the Lion and replaced him with flipping Sparkle the Rabbit. Big mistake. Because Vauxhall was always Louis the Lion. Now it's Sparkle the Rabbit. That just doesn't fit. It feels like Sparkle just don't fit with Vauxhall. It feels like it's obviously Vauxhall always was, as I knew it, it was always Louis the Lion. It was never Sparkle the Rabbit. It was, that was more kind of California Cliffs. I don't know about about Hayster. I'm not sure what the characters are on that holiday camp, but I know California Cliffs, it's Sparkle the Rabbit. But at one point at Vauxhall, it was Louis the Lion. It always was Louis the Lion, as far as I remember it. But, the thing is, I am somebody who can remember a time where Vauxhall Holiday Park was so good. Like, it was such a great place to go to. We always, enjoyed going there. I think the problem with Vauxhall, and I've seen I saw that a lot of people were saying this in their reviews. A lot of people were saying that they won't be going back to Vauxhall because it's gotten so kind of expensive and it's gotten so overpriced there now. Like, this is the thing with Vauxhall. It used to be really cheap and affordable. It used to be probably one of the cheapest and kind of most affordable holiday camps to go to for a holiday in Great Yarmouth. But now that's not so much the case. It's kind of very expensive and very kind of overpriced, which is what a lot of people have said in their reviews. It seems that a lot of people have had bad holidays for many reasons, various issues with the caravan. They've said that some people have reported a strong smell of urine in certain areas, which is quite concerning. You're hearing, and obviously when, reading this report about the bed bugs there, I was like, bloody hell, like, you would never expect that with Vauxhall Holiday Park, If it was a Pontins Holiday Park, I'd say fair enough, you would probably expect that. And I think you had kind of come to expect that with Pontins, where, you know, people quite often reporting bed bugs and things there, probably. But you would never expect that with vauxhall. You would never expect, you know, people having to leave, that people would have to, or that people would have to leave their caravans because of these bed bugs. Like, it's really unheard of, you know, or it should be unheard of, but unfortunately it's not. For what I heard someone was saying in their report, in their review the other day, they've got rid of the gold mining, or, you know, which was one of all like the activities they had there. They've got rid of the goat hearts as well. They said that a lot of people have said that Crazy Golf is very outdated and needs kind of modernising, I guess. I know people have been saying in their reports that there's a lot of repairs and a lot of maintenance needed at the park. You know, there's a lot of things that are in a kind of state of disrepair that need fixing. But I think the problem that vauxhall has, and I suspect this is the problem, I suspect it's a problem where park resorts don't have the finances to be able to actually fix the things that need to be fixed. Because I can imagine that, you know, judging by a lot of the bad reviews I've seen on like TripAdvisor and places like that, I would suspect that Parkdean are losing a lot of money because people are not enjoying their holidays at vauxhall. You know, people are, you know, really not happy with the caravans or not happy, you know, with other things. The one thing I will say though, I have seen a lot of people complaining about dirty plates and cutlery and things like that. And I just think to myself, like, you can't really blame people aren't really blaming vauxhall for that, but that's not really their fault. That's more down to the you know, the people that were previously staying in that caravan who obviously haven't bothered to clean the plates and, you know, the cutlery and things like that properly. So, you know, you can't really blame vauxhall Holiday Park for that because it's not really their fault. You know, it's more down to the people that, you know, were staying in that caravan before, or, you know, they obviously haven't bothered to wash things up properly, you know. I think the problem is when some people go to these holiday camps, they treat it like crap. You know, they treat the place like crap. They think they have the right to treat, you know, the place like crap. Like, you know, they treat the caravans and whatnot like they would treat their own home, you know, and it's quite sad, to be honest. It's really sad to think about how bad things have gotten for vauxhall. You know, it seems like things seem to be getting worse and worse and worse. You know, at Vauxhall Holiday Park as time goes on, it feels like things are not getting any better. You know, things are not improving. At the park, you know, it seems, you know, I think that Parkdean Resorts taking over the ownership isn't something that has really benefited vauxhall, and I think that's something that a lot of people would probably agree with, that is that Parkdean Resorts taking over the ownership of the park isn't something that's benefited it. It's actually made things worse, and you can see that since Parkdean Resorts took over the ownership, things have gotten very bad. The Vauxhall Holiday Park, and you can tell, you can tell that just by reading some of the reviews, like people saying don't stay there, you know, go elsewhere, you know, it's too expensive, you know, like you've got a lot of people who have, you know, been going there for years, saying, oh, you know, we won't be going back there because it's too expensive now, you know, and it's sad because Vauxhall never, you know, because as I said, Vauxhall never used to be like that. Vauxhall Holiday Park always used to be so cheap and so affordable. Like, this has to be said. But seeing what people are saying about Vauxhall, I'm not saying I doubt what people are saying or I don't believe what people are saying. I do genuinely, you know, believe a lot of what these people are saying in their reviews are true. I don't think people would over-exaggerate things or make things out to be, you know, to be worse than what they were. You know, I think people have left these bad reviews genuinely because they had a nightmare stay, and genuinely because they didn't enjoy it there, you know. And this is sadly a common thing now for Vauxhall, people are just not enjoying their holidays there, people are not enjoying the experience. Like Vauxhall Holiday Park, people have said the entertainment is garbage, it's absolutely crap now. They've said that the V Lounge the V Lounge from what I remember always used to be over 18s. But now apparently it's not over 18s anymore, apparently kids are allowed in there now. So I don't know when the rules were changed on that, but I know the last time that we went to Vauxhall, which was I think back in 2017, there was the V Lounge was on over 18s only. But I guess now they've changed the rules on that, and now kids are allowed in there as well as older people. Which to me doesn't make more sense. It doesn't really make any sense that that we obviously it was once a place for like over 18s, and now and then at some point they suddenly decided to change the rules and allow young kids to go in there. Like, I don't know if maybe that was something to do. Maybe it was to do with the fact that people were complaining about the fact that young kids couldn't go in there. But I think that was always because they had like more sort of adult entertainment on in there, which is why kids weren't allowed in there, for safety reasons. They didn't want kids being scarred for life. I mean, I honestly don't know if I would go back to Vauxhall, just by, judging by the reviews I've seen. It kind of puts me in two minds about whether or not I would want to go back there, I'm not saying it's put me off the idea completely, but I'm just saying it's kind of got me in two minds about, it's made me really think about whether I would want to go back there. And I honestly, judging by the reviews I've seen, I wouldn't want to go back there because it sounds like things have, from what has been said in a lot of the reviews, it sounds like things have gotten really bad at Vauxhall Holiday Park. And that's, as I said, it's sad. Because I do remember a time when Vauxhall used to be so good, and it used to be great, I remember, once upon a time, but it feels like those days of Vauxhall being one of the greatest holiday parks in Great Yarmouth are very much gone. And I think partly resorts are to blame. I think you can see, that partly resorts are to blame for a lot of a lot of the issues at Vauxhall, because they've made a lot of changes, but not all of the changes were positive changes. Not all of the changes have improved things as much as they hoped they would. I think, I think the problem is with a lot of people, it's like park themed resorts have kind of ruined that nostalgia for a lot of people. And I think that's why a lot of people go to Vauxhall or did go to Vauxhall, is because of it's for the nostalgia. But I think park themed resorts have sort of ruined that a little bit. They've sort of ruined that nostalgia, but it is what it is. As I said, I'm not doubting what people have said in their reviews, but it's sad to see a holiday park that was once beloved by so many people now being described as one of the worst holiday camps in Great Yarmouth. And that's how someone did describe it in one of their reviews the other day on TripAdvisor. Someone described it as the worst holiday camp in Great Yarmouth, and I was like, wow. If somebody's describing it in that way, they must have had a really bad holiday there. Like, they must have had a really bad experience at Vauxhall that kind of really made them feel like that. But I think, I'd like to say that things might improve at Vauxhall, but right now, looking at it looks like things are not going to improve anytime soon. I think the only way that things would probably improve at Vauxhall Holiday Park is if Park-themed Resorts gave up the ownership. But Park-themed Resorts are not going to give up the ownership, despite the fact that things have gotten so bad for the park. To the point where so many people are saying they won't be going back to Vauxhall, which seems to, unfortunately, quite sadly now to be a common thing. You know, you're seeing so many, people online on social media and, on these different websites leaving reviews saying that they won't be going back, to vauxhall because, it's just gotten too expensive now, and it's just gotten to the, it's just gotten so bad there. Like, there was once a time where vauxhall used to be getting predominantly a lot of 4 and 5 star reviews. But now, when you're looking at the reviews, you're seeing a lot of kind of 1 and 2 star reviews. And people was, and I've seen some people's reviews saying that, some people have said they'd even rate it 0 stars if they could. That shows that things are bad if people are saying that they would actually rate it 0 stars. I think the one thing that seems to have gotten bad there is, hygiene seems to be a major issue there. As I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of people said that they, reported like a strong smell of urine in certain places. But yeah, when I was reading that review about, this family that had to leave their caravan, and obviously because of the bed bugs, I was horrified. And obviously this was only a few months ago as well, like this was only back in August, that this family went to Vauxhall holiday park and they were forced to leave their caravan because their caravan was running alive with bed bugs. But apparently they said that they went into the reception and they reported it, and they sent someone out to exterminate to get rid of the bed bugs. But the person that was sent out to exterminate it claimed that they were only finding dead bed bugs, like they weren't finding live ones. But the family was saying, well, actually, we were fine. There were live bed bugs in the caravan. But then it's the person that was sent out to exterminate the caravan, or fix it, was told that, or was saying that they were only seeing dead bed bugs, if you know what I mean. It's just a crazy thing. As I said, it's not something that you would ever expect with a holiday camp like Vauxhall Holiday Park. You would never expect, someone to be mentioning bed bugs or things like that. My guess with that is that they were probably brought in off someone's luggage. They're probably coming off someone's bags or whatever. That's the only logical explanation for that, is that they're probably coming off of somebody's luggage, and that's also not a problem. But from what I've seen, it's not a major issue. That's not something that's a major issue. It's not like there's, hundreds of caravans teeming alive with bed bugs. That's not the case, That seems to have just been a one-off incident. From what I've seen, there haven't been any more reports or any more reviews from people that have reported bed bugs. So I'm guessing that incident was just a one-off incident. But you never like to hear stories like that coming from a place like Vauxhall. Years ago, you would never have heard stories like that. You would never have seen reviews like that. People reporting bed bugs. Like that would have been strictly unheard of. As I said, it breaks my heart seeing how bad things have gotten with Vauxhall, because I do remember a time when it was so good. I do remember a time when it was one of the best holiday parks in Great Yarmouth, but now it's probably one of the worst. And I think, so many people have said they won't go back. They've told people to avoid it like the plague. That's what I've seen. Some people saying their reviews is avoid it like the plague. Some people say they've had their holidays have been ruined by the behaviour of other guests staying at the park. And that's always quite sad when you hear that people's holidays have been ruined by, the behaviour of other people staying at the park and whatever. That's never a nice thing to hear. But, it is what it is. Vauxhall, maybe things will improve, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. As I said, I think, there may be a lot of repairs that need doing. But part of the just don't have the finances to be able to actually, fix the things that need fixing and all that kind of stuff. Because they'll probably be, from what I can see, is they've probably been losing a lot of money. And looking at some of the reviews, it's not hard to imagine that Vauxhall, the party near the party resorts, are losing a hell of a lot of money, and they're not it's probably pretty fair to say that they're not making making much money at the moment. You know, because so many people are just not enjoying their holidays there. I've actually seen a few reviews from people saying that they've actually left like 2 or 3 days early, which again is is a shame. That people were having to leave early. Again, this was not something back in the day you would have ever heard of. You would never really have heard. You would never really seen people cutting their holiday short, or leaving their holiday, or finishing their holidays early for whatever reason, or going home early for whatever reason. But so many people have left early, but they just don't stay at the park. It just wasn't doable. But yeah, maybe Park D Resort should give up the ownership before things get any worse for Vauxhall. Because things are just getting worse for it, and has to be said. I think that I would go for California Cliff, so I would go for, Hayster or somewhere like that, somewhere that's cheaper. Because looking at the prices of Vauxhall now, I can understand why people are being put off going back there. I can really see, its prices have gone up there. I remember last time we went, I think, when we went away to Vauxhall back in 2017, I think this was around the time that Park Dean had first taken over the ownership of the park. I don't think they've been the owners of the park for that long at the time. And the one thing we noticed was that the prices had really gone up. And, things were so expensive, the amount of money we spent that week. But I think the reason that we spent so much money on the holiday, on that holiday that week, was because of how expensive things were on the holiday park itself. Things were really expensive at the time. I remember. And I remember we was in Caravan one night. I think it was a couple of days before we were due to go home, and we were talking about how expensive it was. How bad. Things had got, how expensive things were there, because things were really, mega expensive. Even the takeaway places there now have apparently gone down the pound as well. Even they're not as good as they used to be. This is the common thing with Vauxhall, is it feels like nothing is as good as it used to be at Vauxhall anymore. Nothing is as good as nothing on Vauxhall Holiday Park is as good as it used to be back in the day. It's pretty fair to say. But I don't think that things are ever going to be the same as they were back in the day. Not while Park D Resorts are still the owners. But let's put it that way. Park D Resorts, I'm not saying that Park D Resorts are a joke, but I'm just saying that they've obviously ruined Vauxhall Holiday Park completely for a lot, and you can see that by a lot of people's reviews. So I hope you've enjoyed that little video. I hope that was interesting. I hope I've not bored you to death with this. I'll see you for another video very soon. Bye bye.